Konnichiwa.
Howdy, y'all.
I'm Leslie.
I'm Laurie. Welcome to
Sumo Kaboom.
Sumo Kaboom,
where we talk about all things sumo.
And today we are finally getting to the Banzuke for the July 2024 tournament. This is going to be a strange, a little different way of approaching it, only because, y'all, we live in Texas. And here's the deal. Whenever big storms come into Texas and there's a big hurricane rolling in.
That's right.
Texas lives in its own little world and it thinks it needs no one's help. And so everything is like its own grid, but it breaks down. So we have intermittent internet, and it's just been a challenge.
Say that 5 times.
Intermittent internet.
Intermittent internet. Internet. I can't do it.
Yeah. It's affected my prep for this Banzuke.
And I didn't do any prep.
So this is just going to be off the cuff Banzuke talk about this basho that's coming up.
Well,
okay?
yeah, and I had said I could talk this week about the Oitekaza coach, but you know what? I like this series so much, and I think other people have really enjoyed the coach series. So I think after this tournament ends, we can go back to more of the coach series. So I will save my information on that guy. But would you like to hear some news instead?
Before we get to that, I just want to remind people that we will have a new bingo game that's starting up on Wednesday. So if you want to play bingo with us for this next tournament, the cards will go out Wednesday or Thursday. Get on our newsletter list. You will have the first option to get your bingo card. We have 500 bingo cards up for grabs. We usually have about 450 people play, but we have had up to 492, which is awfully close to that cutoff number.
That's right.
So if you want to make sure that you're on that list, get on our newsletter list. You can go to our website. Play bingo with us. It's a super fun way to watch the tournament and to cheer for people that you don't normally cheer for. Thank you also to Chris Spangler. They gave us a lovely donation and sent this note along with it. Your podcast is my port in a storm of bad news from around the world. We've had quite a bit of that lately.
Yes.
Thank you for all you do. I love your podcast and look forward to it every week. You gals rock.
Aww.
Just wanted to say thank you, Chris. Also, thank you, Kimba Griffith, for joining us. You're a new member with us, new monthly supporter. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Little Miss Sumo. Thank you, Keegan, Laura, Jen, Mawashi Guru, Hannah, Rod, Gretchen, Anthony, Mai. You've supported us for quite a while, Mai. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dan, Annie, and Scott from Australia. Again, they've supported us for quite a while.
And they're on the other side of the earth. So many of our supporters are on the other side of the earth.
I know. Dr. KVC, just the coolest person around. Jessica Buckland, thank you. Carol Bush, thank you. Caroline, you've supported us since 2021.
What?
I know.
Like an old school
I know.
fan.
Also, Carol has supported us that long. So just thanks. Just thank y'all for going along with us on this ride. It's a passion project for us. It's just something we really love following.
Yeah, everybody asks us, why do y'all do this? Y'all don't get paid anything. We're like, well, we just really love
sumo.
And
I mean, even our own father, yesterday, Dad was like, I tried to listen to Sumo Kaboom today. I made it about 10 minutes in. And I was like, well, thanks for trying.
I know. It's pretty niche.
Honestly,
it's pretty
most
niche.
people react like that.
Well, I think most of our listeners probably have the same experience because they're sumo fans and they're telling people, oh my gosh, I'm so into sumo. And people just immediately tune out. So maybe this is our special club, and we thank you all for supporting us. Nishikigi served as a police chief for a day.
For a day?
Don't you remember one of the other wrestlers in the past did a fire chief for the day?
Yeah.
This was a police chief for the day. So there's like an adorable like cartoon of like Nishikigi with his glasses on and like a little policeman's outfit on, and he goes and serves as a police officer for the day so that, like he said, I hope that the world will become a more peaceful place without crime. So he's like a representative who's bringing good vibes to
I like it.
Local Okazaki police station.
Was it like cops? Did he run some people down on the street?
I think it was more ceremonial, but I would have loved it if it was like cops, and then
reality
TV,
show,
and then there's a sumo wrestler in the back seat. As far as what's happening in the pre-tournament news, Takeru Fuji, he says he will be competing. He's been bumped down to Juryo. He said he's going to do the best he can, but as many of you probably remember, he won the basho 2 times ago, but when he did that, he tweaked his ACL, and it was, I think, surgery or
ankle.
ankle.
No, ankle. It was his foot.
Oh, sorry,
ankle.
I don't remember. It's somewhere on his legs. And that's really all we need to know. He can't use his legs.
He pretty much broke his ankle or severely sprained it.
Yeah.
And then he's sat out.
Yeah.
The tournament since then.
Yeah, and he has not really regained full mobility. So he says he's going to compete, but he's going to compete with what he has. So that is kind of interesting. We'll see how many days he sticks around in Juryo.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to try to get the 8 wins and then peace out, and then he can move back up.
If it was me, and I just like popped up into the top division and won the basho,
right,
and then broke my foot, I'd be like, I'm peacing out until I'm 100% again.
I know.
Like, why not just take the time?
But you're not a sumo wrestler.
I know. I don't have someone yelling at me going, you're not living up to your full potential.
Yeah.
Like, I would get back to 100% before I jump back into that ring. Because, that's quite the stat to live up to, you know?
Right. Yeah. I know. Well, Takakeisho also has not resumed full keiko, but he says he's doing fundamentals. His coach was quoted by reporters as saying, during practice, don't do too much with your head. You've got to be careful with your neck. So he's intending to join as well. We'll talk about him, I'm sure, but he seems to be at his 9th kadoban. He doesn't seem to be too worried about it, but that's his state. Onosato.
He does great in Kadoban. Really?
Yeah, he does. Kadoban
doesn't really
bother him.
Yeah.
He's been here a while. He's fine.
It's like Goeido in that way.
Yeah. Koto Zakura's dad has been concerned about heat stroke, so he's been limiting his daily bouts, which they say Nagoya is extremely hot right now. So I was like, okay, the other guys are going full out, and somebody's dad is like, slow down. Sip water. You could only do 9 bouts, not 12. So,
but
it's smart.
If there was one wrestler out there where I thought, who needs to kind of be careful in all this, it would be him.
Right.
Although he's younger,
but he's
than the
doughy.
Rest.
So doughy.
He's just a big boy.
He's doughy. I worry too that he get heat stroke. His little cheeks get all red.
And patchy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
well, and when your dad's your coach. It's a different approach because some other dads would just be like, no, work it out, work your hardest, even in this kind of heat.
Yeah.
Work until you collapse.
Yeah.
But
if your coach is your dad, then you might be like, work really hard.
And then have some watermelon and get in the pool.
Yeah, exactly. Cool off.
Yeah. I will make you a pool.
Right.
Because you're my son.
And heat stroke is serious.
Yeah. Okay.
Onosato, we could talk a little bit about this, but everybody's all abuzz about will he get his Ozeki status. He's not really saying, he says like he's just doing what he's doing, but he did have a hometown parade. That was all for him. And it was like him and his white convertible and then Kisono Sato or Nishonoseki sitting next to him. And I like this tidbit. Everyone was like, are you exhausted, from all of your, about the town, having to present yourself everywhere because you were the winner. He said he still went to bed at the normal bedtime, so he feels good about that.
That's good. But what time is that normal
11.
bedtime? 11. Okay.
At least from my research, I think that's what I saw. Is he goes to bed
at 11
at a responsible hour. He's maintained that, so he's feeling good. That's all the news I've got.
Okay, starting from the top. Terunofuji is our one and only Yokozuna. He's the man at the top. At this point, people around him are saying that he's going to be there.
Yeah.
He was there partially last basho. Now, everything I'm doing at this basho talk is from memory, okay?
Right.
So I have not looked at stats because I can't pull them up because of the intermittent internet. But he was partially there last basho. He was not there in March.
Before,
but in January, the only basho he has been there through the whole 15 days, he won. Okay?
Yes.
So if the man shows up and he's in top form, he'll do great. He's training some. but not at 100%, as far as I understand.
Right. I think did he go up against Nishikigi? I don't know. I feel like
He was going up against much lower rank, like
Yeah.
Makushita guys for a long time, and just slowly working his way back up because he's got back pain, knee injuries, of course.
He did the ceremony at the Atsuta shrine. So he's making all public appearances.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's not
showing
really...
up. He's doing his part with the JSA to be the spokesman,
right?
You know, and all his social media is still going. He's out and about, and he's looking great, but he just needs some time to heal.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Will he or will he not? So, big question mark at the top.
The last tournament, he lost to Onosho on the first day, and then the second day was Daisho, and then he pulled out. So that's essentially the rest of the days were absent. The tournament before that in March, he was there for 7 days.
Oh, he was there partially? Oh, I thought he was not there at all.
In March, yeah, he lost to Nishikigi. He won against Ura and Asanayama, lost Meisei, Oho, Takakeisho, and then pulled out to Tobizaru on day 7. Yeah, it basically looks like he goes in and he looks like how much he's giving away as far as gold stars, how expensive of his losses are, and then he pulls out.
Or he could be using it as a type of training, too.
Yeah.
Perhaps he doesn't know how healthy his own back is until he shows up. Like, I remember the one in January. He didn't look that great in the beginning.
Yeah, but then he also battles diabetes and other things like that, which come and go.
As that basho went along, he got stronger and stronger, which was great. But the other bashos, now I'm remembering, he didn't get stronger and stronger.
No.
As it went along. It could just be one of those times where he's like, is my knee okay? Is it not? Is my back okay? No.
Well, and if
so
you
he's
remember,
making those choices on the fly.
Prior to him showing up in January, he took off completely November and he took off completely September.
Yeah.
And then last year, this last year, July, he left the tournament after 4 days. So I don't know if he takes 3 tournaments kind of off or half off, then maybe he can...
just win one basho a year. He'll be fine.
And then come back.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's all good. Just dip your toes in the water, take them out, dip them in, take them out. Decide which one you want to stick around for.
Exactly.
And then win. I like that strategy. At the Ozeki level, we have 3 guys. The highest ranked, Kotozakura. This is his second basho with his new name.
Mm-hmm.
The last basho, the first one with his new name, he did very well.
Mm-hmm. He says he's moving well. All news sources indicate he feels good about his physical state.
He looks good. He looks strong. The last basho was his 3rd Junyu show. So that means he was runner-up for the 3rd time. We're just waiting for this kid to win his first Yusho. I would love for it to be this one.
Well, but this is the Nagoya, which is the hot and steamy one.
Yep.
And so this is always one that is like a little bit wild. It always typically is a wild result.
Well, there's a lot of big boys sweating really hard, like scooting off of slipping off of each other. Yeah. So it's the ones who don't sweat as much that do better. I don't know, but it's a hot and steamy one. Speaking of hot and steamy, another ozeki that I know a lot of you love, Hoshoryu, is on the west side, opposite Kotozakura. He has won one basho in the past, if I'm remembering correctly, but I know he would like to have another one for lunch. I mean, he's been looking okay. As Ozeki, he's been definitely getting his kachikoshis.
Yep.
And I think he got double digits last time, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, he was 10-5 last time.
See, double digits.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So that's exactly what an Ozeki's supposed to do.
Yep.
By the way, for the last 3 tournaments, he had, in January, 10 wins, 4 losses, or 4 absences, 1 loss, I believe. No. 4 losses, 1 absence. March, 11-4. May, 10-5. So he has been doing exactly as an Ozeki should, at least for the last 3 tournaments, getting those 10 wins that they expect from him. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I sort of feel like Occasionally he throws in those fights that are just like electric.
Right.
And then sometimes I'm surprised at who he loses to.
Mhm.
Like, who did he lose to last basho? Can
Oh,
you pull that up? If you have
Hoshoryu?
internet.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's my computer that seems to be fine. Your computer is just being a jerk.
Yeah. Mine still just
Hoshoryu
says
lost
trying to connect.
to Tamifuji on day 1, Abi on day 2. Then he lost.
Oh, that's right. He lost the first 2 days. So he had a hard start last time. That's right.
And then he lost to Oho.
That's the one. Oho.
And Takayasu, and then Kotozakura.
Okay.
On the last day.
Yeah, he should not have lost
He
to
should not have
Oho.
lost to Oho.
Should not have lost to Oho. And he had a slow start. So that means if this guy can show up on day 1 and he can get himself to that like place where he wins from, then I think we can expect good things from Hoshoryu.
Yes.
Okay, great. Our other Ozeki, our third one is Takakeisho, who we discussed before.
Yeah.
I think he'll do great.
He'll
get his 8 wins.
Well, he's
newly married.
Well, September of last year, he was the champion. So remember that. After that, 9-6. After that, 2 wins, 2 losses, 11 out. He was out. The last March was
that neck injury.
8, 6, and 1. And then May was first day, lost to Hiradoumi. He was out on day 2. So he's had a lot of time out. But again, he has not been practicing. So we'll see.
Yeah. He is a man that definitely puts his head into his work.
Well, that was his A game. I mean, that is his approach. So,
and your neck just isn't as strong as the rest of your body.
Right.
That's the issue. Like, you can beef it up, you can train your neck, but it is still, I mean, Enho has found this out. Like, so many of the shorter wrestlers have found this out.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to Sekewake. Because there are 3 guys here. This is exciting. We've got Abi, who is back up at his highest rank.
I'm always surprised about Abi's. Like,
every time he comes back up here?
Yeah, but he belongs up there.
More and more it's seeming that he does belong. I mean, his, his
army pokey thing he does is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And effective.
Yeah. And he's just getting bigger and more solid. He is on the east side. He is actually the highest ranked Sekewake. On the west side is the feel-good story of the day, Onosato. Bumped up from after winning the basho. I believe he was at Komusubi last time.
Yeah,
and if you have internet, you can double check me on that.
He was West Komusubi.
Yeah, and he walked away with a big trophy. So, as they usually do, they get bumped up 1 rank. Yeah, and there is talk about him becoming Ozeki, but it takes 3 tournaments. So I don't know why people are talking about it after 2.
No, because if he gets it after this, he will have enough wins. But he had a 11-4, then he had a 12-3. So if he gets
But 11-4 wasn't in Sanyaku. You have to be...
I think they make exceptions. He got the Kanto show and the Gino show in that one at Maegashira 5. So apparently...
I think they came out and said no.
Oh, well, good.
I think.
Everyone keeps asking him about it like it's a real possibility. So if he won the tournament, maybe that's the caveat, is that you can become an Ozeki without the hard and fast, 33 wins.
This is why sumo is so fascinating. This is why the Banzuke is so fascinating, because they make rules and then they break them.
Right.
All the time.
Right. But if you look at his track record, he joined in 2024, Maegashira 15. He got the Kanto show and he had 11-4. Yeah.
He got the Yusho after 3 basho. It's incredible.
All of his Makuuchi tournaments have been a Kanto show or Fighting Spirit prize or the actual championship.
But I am a rule follower, and the rule that I always learned was you got to get 33 wins in Sanyaku, not 33 wins in some other rank. So you got to be Komusubi before those ranks, before that starts counting. Anyway, I can't even speak. One other person in the Sekewake rank, and this one's a big mystery. This is Kirishima, who has fallen out of his Ozeki rank.
But if he gets 10 wins, he can get his Ozeki rank back.
Yeah, and he's been training.
Mm-hmm.
hard, as far as I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Last time he went out, when did he go out? After how many days? Wasn't
He
long.
on 7, or he pulled out after 6. He only had 1 win, and then he had 5 losses, and then he pulled out. And the tournament before that was also awful. 5 wins, 10 losses. So he's had 2 back-to-back awful tournaments.
Yeah.
So maybe that's enough time. To get his neck back in order.
Yeah, it's been hard to watch him fight because it's as if he has no power in his arms.
And he always seems to train well, but then once the tournament happens, it all falls apart. So I don't know.
We all want him to get back up to Ozeki. We all want him to walk away with the Yusho. I want all these guys to walk away with the Yusho. I really do. And when he's in form, he's very exciting.
Yep.
So I'm hoping he gets back to form. Komusubi rank, we have Daisho on the east side, back up where he should be in the Sanyaku. He had fallen out of the Sanyaku rank, or out of even higher, Sekawaki rank, but he did very well last time. He was in the higher Maegashira ranks. I don't remember exactly where, but he did very well. And popped back up to Komusubi. His pushing game is something fierce to behold when it is on. So I'm happy to see him up here. And on the west side, brand new guy to Sanyaku. I'm so excited about this, Hirada Umi. And I guess we could have done a little spotlight on Hirada Umi because this is his first time in Sanyaku. He's just been slowly, steadily rising. I looked at our history. We did a highlight on him 2 years ago.
Wow, Hirada Umi. Was that his debut, I guess, into Makauchi?
Yeah.
So, wow.
And he's been slowly rising. I listened to just a hint of our episode. We talked about him and Chio Tairu. We had a big, long discussion about his height. He is 5'10", so he looks tiny in comparison to all these guys. But what we said about him is that he's very well-rounded. He's a great pusher, a great shover, and he's a great man on the belt. So he really can do it all, and he's got an unbelievable work ethic. And so I think his hard work is just showing off.
Yeah, and he's incredibly flexible in his upper back. So he it looks like he's fighting as Jello. The other guy's like shove on his chest and he just goes backwards. So he has some magic tricks in that flexibility that I think makes him really hard to defeat.
Yep. I was very impressed last Basho when he beat Takakeisho. I did not expect that, and that's when I thought, oh, okay, this guy's got a lot more than I realized. Maegashira 1, on the east side, we have Meisei, which is great.
He belongs up there.
Yeah, he does belong up there. He really does. He's got a great pushing game, and you just never know. He's a little bit like Shodai in that, or like Endo. He has that capacity to just like throw things off balance when you least expect it.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And on the other side, we have a Tommy Fuji, who's fallen out of Sanyaku, back down to Maegashira 1.
Last tournament, he was 7-8, so that's not great. The tournament before, 8-7. The tournament before, 6-9. And then before that, November, he had 11-4, like the Fighting Spirit Prize. The tournament before, again, Kantosho, 11-4. He had really great back-to-back earlier last year. As of late, he just seems to be kind of floundering. But 8-7, 7-8's not terrible. It's just mid-range. So I think for him, he's going to have to just up it whatever a notch. Maybe it was everybody else's rise, like Onosato, that affected him. But I think he's getting more and more experience hanging up in these upper ranks or as Komusubi. I expect him in the next, 6 months to crank it up.
I think he's done really well, and he's struggled a bit at Sanyaku, as everybody does.
Yeah.
I
it's
I shouldn't
really
say
hard
everyone.
place
It's
to
a
be.
super hard place to be.
Yeah.
And I think he has a ton of talent.
And he's young.
Everybody loves him. There's nothing not to like about that kid. So every time he comes out to do sumo, I think the entire crowd is behind him. We all want him to win all the time.
Yeah. He's in a powerhouse stable too. So Isikohama, I have faith that he will inch back up.
Yep. Maegashira 2. This one's interesting. Wakamoto Haru is here. On the east side, he fell from Sekewake, if I'm remembering correctly, right? He got injured last basho, his toe. I remember his foot.
Yeah.
It was a real fast slide on his foot.
Yep.
And didn't he had to step out of the basho
Yeah,
for a few
he did
days?
on day 7, and then he came back on day 11. So it was 4 wins.
That's right, but he never really shone when he came back, right? Because that injury, like he won maybe once after he got back.
Yeah. Oshoma. That's who
He
he
beat Oshoma.
Yeah, after he returned. Everybody else, Hidadumi, Kotozakura, I mean, those aren't easy people. And then Oho, he should have beat. Ura, he should have beat. But yeah, the beginning of the tournament was like hit or miss. So yeah. Maybe
But when you injured your foot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If his foot is healed, I think he'll do fine here and pop right back up into Sanyaku, Wakamoto Haru. And on the other side, this one kind of surprised me, Mitakeumi is back up here at Maegashira 2.
Yep.
After what was his record last basho?
Oh, last basho, he did 8 and 7. So he went up, but just, marginal. The last
What was his
year.
rank last time? Wasn't it much lower?
Maegashira 7. Yeah. So
he got what was his record at Maegashira?
8 and 7.
He did an 8 and 7. He got bumped up to Maegashira 2.
Yeah, from 7.
From 7. Well, that's friendly. That's very. That's a nice. That's a nice bump.
Basically, like who he had beaten was Takanosho, Midori Fuji, Nishikigi. That's not Onosho, Meisei, Shona no Umi, Kinbozan, Chira no Umi. Those are all those are all rank and file guys.
Maybe he sent around a box of chocolates to whoever makes the Banzuke, because
or everyone's like he used
to
to be an Ozeki. We'll give him a little bit of a bump up.
Yeah, very, very.
And his
nice.
record prior to that is also mid range. 9 and 6 is about as best as it got. 6-9, 8-7, 9-6.
But he was an Ozeki for a good long time.
Yeah, we still love him for that.
Yeah.
But he's been hovering in these Maegashira 9, Maegashira 11, Maegashira 10, like that space for a while. So I think we'll have a different tournament being back up top again and fighting the Sanyaku guys again.
Maegashira 3. On the east side, we have Takayasu, who carries all of our hopes and our dreams every time that he steps on the doyo.
Mm-hmm.
And does well unless that back injury pops up, which it seems to do often. We all want him to win once.
Mm-hmm.
We all want him to win once. And if not, just sing up there. That's all we want.
Yeah. I imagine he'll be injured at some point because he just, at this point, he's had quite a few tournaments where he's been out for a number of days in the last year. So although I do not want that, March he did all the days and he got 11 and 4. But the last tournament he took 5 days off and he still came back and won.
I was gonna say, didn't he blow through everyone as soon as he came back?
Not everybody. He lost to Daisho and Hiradoumi, but he beat, Atami Fuji, Kotozakura, Gonoyama, like Hoshoryu. So he beat Ozekis when he came back.
Yeah. I mean, he still does Ozeki style sumo when his body can handle it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just if his body can handle it.
Okay, on the other side of Maegashira 3, on the west side, we have Gonoyama. Gonoyama, who I can't remember where he was last time.
Oh.
Can you tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Is this going up or going down for him?
Going down. He was Maegashira 2 and he had a 6-9 record last time.
6-9. Oh, and he got bumped. That's interesting. Went down 1 with a 6-9 record. Oh, well, this will be an interesting tournament to see if he can turn that around and do like an 8-7 or something like that.
Yeah, I do think he belongs up here. But he's just still young. But I think he's quite fierce. But if he wants to better himself, he's got to be wrestling guys that are higher up in the ranks.
Maegashira 4, if you want to go have a day of sumo and sake and have yourself a good time, you just need to find yourself some Maegashira 4s this time because it's Tobizaru on one side and Ura on the other.
Yeah, it's good time rank.
Yeah, the good time rank. The good time rank. Tobizaru hasn't, again, this is with absolutely no numbers to support this, but
Give it a guess.
Yeah, has not been putting together as many wins as I expect him to recently.
Yeah, no, you're correct. He always does fun sumo, but he's been 6-9, 8-7, 7-8, 7-8, 6-9.
Yeah,
that's his last year.
So not spectacular. Not
Right.
spectacular. Okay, but not spectacular.
Right.
when I know he has the ability to be spectacular sometimes.
Yeah, I do think sometimes his height and size, it's just hard to fight there. Other guys are just bigger, and
Yeah.
he's fighting really big guys, and he has to be clever to beat them.
Ura on the other side, who is just so uber talented, but again is fighting on bum knees. Mr. Excitement, I love him every single time he goes up. I believe this is a continuation of his fall from Komusubi, his sort of slow motion fall from Komusubi, but he is always exciting to watch. Am I forgetting anything about him?
No, same rankings, like mid-grade, 6'9", 7'8" was the last tournament. You know, even at Komusubi, he was 6'9". So he belongs up here, but maybe not quite in that Sangyaku position.
Okay, so I popped either, I don't know how much of my MCL I popped a little over a year ago. And there's this funny thing that happens when I bend my knee too far, where you can feel your shin bone sort of pop out of place.
Ew,
and you have to
gross.
like straighten your leg in order to pop it back in so that your bones are sitting the way they're supposed to.
Oh, that's weird.
And well, I've been watching Ura. When he falls, sometimes he has to pop that shin bone back in place. And now that I've seen it once, I can't unsee it. And so I'm like, that man is doing all of those moves, all of those lateral moves on a shin bone that is not staying connected to his knee.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
That's like a rubber skeleton kind of feel. Like,
Yes, exactly. And so he pops it back into place.
I don't care where he is in the Banzuke. He is just one of my all-time favorites to watch. He always brings gymnastics into the dojo, and I love that. He has such flair.
Yes. He is our Ric Flair of the sumo world. Maegashira 5, Onosho on the east side and Shonan no Umi on the west side. Anything to say?
No.
What about Shonan no Umi? Is this a rise for him or is this a fall for him?
Shonan no Umi last tournament got a 9.6.
At?
And before that, he was a 9.6.
So he must have been at 7, like
no,
Maegashira
he was
7?
actually Maegashira 10. So they gave him 5
wow,
spots.
Whoever made this Banzuke is very nice this time. Okay, Shonan no Umi is a big, tall, strong guy. And now I'm really, really excited to see how he's going to do at 5.
Yeah.
Because doing that well at 10... this will be a good challenge for him, I think. And I'm excited to see him fight some of these guys. I'd love to see him against a Tommy Fuji. That sounds really exciting. Onosho, anything to say?
No, he's just there.
Okay.
As usual.
Okay. Maegashira 6. This is when our real feelings about these wrestlers start to come out in these mid-ranks. Maegashira 6, Takanosho on the east side.
He just got married, so he may have a little bit of extra pep in his step or a total disaster. But they've been married, so he's already had the adjustment to living with the normal wife. So I suspect he'll utilize some of that. Like extra, I'm a married man now.
Can you imagine, like this is what I spend my days wondering as I'm on dog walks, and I'm researching coaches, sumo coaches. Having just discovered that Takanosho is training with Takakeisho on the daily. Like, can you imagine if that's your life? Like, you've got your wife at home and you've got, you're just
he probably hasn't been practicing too much because his main partner hasn't been doing any sumo.
Right. So who is he? He's got maybe a couple of other, younger ranked guys that he can go up against, but
he's got to go date around at all the other stables.
Yeah. So what's he doing? Like, is he checking in with Takakeisho every day? Just being like, can we go now?
Can we hit today?
Can we go now? Do I need to go to another stable? Like, do I just need to go over to the Teppo pole? And how friendly is Takakeisho in sparring matches? Is he kind of like, I imagine him being very grumpy.
But it does make me wonder, Takanosho had a lot of momentum with him when he came in, and that also coincided with Takakeisho's momentum. And then when Takakeisho got injured, I've noticed like his record has taken a hit. So it very well could be something as simple as that. You don't have your main sparring partner on the daily.
Yeah.
So it's up and down for him. It's 8-7, 5-10, 10-5, 5-6, 4. Like it's in the middle and which is kind of like Takakeisho's.
You do well one time,
Yeah,
and then you're
then-
Katabon, and then you
yeah.
do well, and you're Katabon. Oh-ho.
Oho, again, mid-range. Mostly, last tournament he was 6-9, but he beat Hoshoryu. He beat Karishima, that was not hard to do. He beat Hidedoumi. He beat Abi. He beat Wakamoto Haru. So I know I've been singing his song, and he is the great,
I just keep sighing.
the grandson of the late great Taiho. But I still believe that this kid has more gas in the tank. It just takes him a really long time to get to it.
I want to like this kid. I really want.
He's
to-
adorable.
I want to watch his sumo and be so impressed. And I keep showing up, just waiting. Like, come on, show me some sparkle. Show me what you got.
He doesn't
And on
have
very
flair.
rare occasions, I see a flash of it. But most of the time, I just watch and go, So I'm still holding out. I'm trying to get on the Oho train. I really am. So here he is at Maegashira 6, and I'll be watching again, trying to get on the Oho train. Maegashira 7, Kotoshoho on the east side, Sadanoumi on the west side.
Mhm.
Thoughts?
Koto Shoho, he had an 8-7 last tournament, 8-7 before that, so he got a bump up of 1 spot. Sadano Umi, he's a veteran. You know, he got a 9-6 last tournament and 8-7 before that, so he's just basically hanging in. Last time he was like Maegashira 11, so he got a little bit of a bump up, but just marginal, you know.
He's
So-
not just clocking in, though. He's one of those
No, I mean,
older
he's been there
fellows that's-
forever,
He's doing
and-
his best sumo. He's living his
Exactly.
best life and
Yep.
absolutely deserves to be up here. Maegashira 8, Ryuden. This is a surprise for me. I didn't expect this. Maegashira 8. I
Yeah,
keep
well,
thinking he's going to be lower. And on
But
the
he
other
got a
side,
10-5 last time. So
yeah. And he probably got bumped up from what? Like Maegashira 14?
14, yeah. 14.
That was a guess. That was a guess.
It's
Okay.
like, they're like, give him 3 spots.
So-
That's what the meeting afterwards is they're like, nah, let's give him 3 spots.
Okay,
Let's
they
give
gave him,
one.
a friendly, very friendly bump up from Maegashira 14. Ryuden, very tall. He went through a phase where it didn't seem to be working well. Nothing seemed to be working well. So
Well,
he tried
that was
this
after
like
he
hip
cheated.
shimmy.
He cheated
yeah,
on his wife. It all went.
I know. And we really stopped watching him because of that reason. But here
we
he
do
is.
not like cheaters.
We
do
don't.
not like.
But here he is climbing his way back up. He's trying to get back into our best graces here at Sumo Kaboom. So we'll be watching. Is that a good place to leave it?
Yeah.
Okay. On the other side is Kimbo-zan,
Kenny Bobo.
who has been dealing with injury.
Yeah, but
Neck injury, back injury. Yeah.
They were generous with him because he was Maegashira 10 and he only got an 8-7 and they bumped him up. Like what, 2 spots? Is it 8 or 7? Now he's 8. They gave him 2 spots for an 8-7.
And then Ryuden got how many more wins than that? 1, 2 more wins than that? And they bumped him up from 14?
Uh-huh.
This is not...
I
don't
think
get
it's
it.
just maybe
I
it's
don't
like
get
the
it.
lottery. They're like just picking up like out of a hat how many spots somebody gets to jump.
Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, Maegashira 9. On the east side, Oshoma. On the west side, Tamawashi. On the east side, another guy we're trying to love. Did a great job last basho. Kind of blew us all away. Did not expect him to do that well.
We did not want him to do well.
His last basho was his first one in the top division. And if I'm remembering correctly,
He got the Kanto show.
yes. I think he surprised a lot of people with that performance. It was strong. It was stronger than I expected. Just looked like he fit right in a strange way.
He beat all lower ranked guys though, so
So he struggled with the higher ranked ones?
yeah, he did not beat Hoshoryu, Wakamoto Haru, who were later in his fighting. But most of the wrestlers he beat was like Tomokaze, Roga, Mitoryu, you know.
Well, this is his highest rank.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this will be interesting to see how he does here. I would think he would struggle more here because
Yeah.
he's the highest ranked guy in his stable, right? Yeah, he is. He's
like
at
the
Naruto.
only, yeah.
Yeah, so I expect him to run into a wall at some point, whether
Yeah.
it's here or it's a little bit higher. We'll see. Tamawashi on the west side, all love, all hearts, all embroidered hearts.
We
and
don't care where he
pillowcases.
is. We're going to
He's
love
amazing.
and cheer him on no matter
Yeah,
what.
doesn't matter. He's
Just stay healthy because I think he's like only like a tournament or two away from being like the longest career like ever in the history of sumo. Like he's really close to a ridiculous record. So I was like, just keep him healthy. Just keep the strong man coming back.
Yeah. What's so funny about the way we watch sumo is kind of important to how much we love these guys, but the rest of their personality fills in all the edges.
Yeah.
So that we have such a love for these men like Tamawashi, who are great sumo wrestlers in their own right, but for so many other reasons are
He's
our
the baker.
favorites.
He makes cookies. He embroiders. We love him. What's not to love?
Maegashira 10. We have Shodai on the east. And do you want to take over from here?
No, you can.
To hog.
No, you're doing a great job. Yeah, Shodai, he was at 9 last time. He got a 7-8. They bumped him down one spot. Prior to that, he was at 8-7. I mean, it's just, that's the way Shodai goes through life. Like, whatever.
I think I heard this on Sumo Mainichi, where Shodai at the belly rubbing event, they translated what he said about sumo, and he said, look, I just want to have a good time. I just want to have fun in my sumo. So this is his fun rank. He's just having a good time out there, y'all.
The fun rank. These are the fun ranks.
Yeah, like why work
Nothing
so
too
hard?
serious. He gets paid the same as somebody who's Maegashira 1.
It probably makes a little less than he made at the Ozeki rank, but a lot more fun at Maegashira 10.
Less stress.
Exactly.
Less parties to go to.
Yeah, no one's breathing down your back saying you have to get a certain number of wins. You got to do this. You're just there.
Right, you're having a good time.
Yeah. So I'm happy to see him here at Maegashira 10. On the other side is Midori Fuji, who, gosh, if I'm remembering correctly, did not have a great basho last time.
5 wins, 10 losses. Terrible.
Couldn't get his timing going well.
Right. And he was Maegashira 6. So.
Maybe pulled off 1 or 2 wins with his kata tsukashi, but just couldn't put the pieces together last time quite like he has in the past.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how he does here. Maegashira 10. Okay, now I'm getting to, like, there's one other storyline in the bottom of this Banzuke that really makes me happy. And it has to do with one of the men who is at Maegashira 11, Ichi Yamamoto, who is on the east side. Nishikigi is on the west side.
Yes.
So the storyline I will be watching this basho is because Ichi Yamamoto is here at 11. We have the return of one of our favorites at Maegashira 14, Wakataka Kage.
Yes.
And Ichi Yamamoto is the biggest fan of Wakataka Kage in the world. If there were sumo wrestler like mini figurines, Ichi Yamamoto would have one of Wakataka Kage.
Yes.
He has like stickers. He has fan photos of Wakataka Kage. So I am just hoping and praying that they are going to get to fight each other.
But they're on the same side, so it's unlikely, right? They don't typically fight on the same side.
They're both on the east.
Right.
I don't know. If
they're both
I really
in the
hope it
championship,
happens.
perhaps.
I hope it happens.
I hope so. For Ichi Yamamoto at some point.
How cool would that be to get to fight like the guy that you idolize more than anybody else?
I mean, you'd probably poop your pants.
I would think so. Or you would just have the biggest smile on your face the entire time.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to watch. I don't know what day, if at all, it's going to happen, but I really hope it happens for Ichi Yamamoto. Nishikigi, we just love him.
He's
we just
steady,
love him.
But last time I think he turned in a 5 and 10. He either got injured. I think he struggled last time. So he took a big old dip.
This continues his fall from Komusubi or Sekiwaki?
No, Komusubi.
Okay, thank you. Komusubi. So he didn't do well at Komusubi.
Yeah, 3
didn't
and
do
12,
well.
5
didn't do well.
and 10 at
Okay.
Maegashira 7. So.
Yeah, so he's just looking for the ground. He's just finding his footing.
He's finding his best Shodai position.
Yeah, and he'll find it. This may be it, or it may take one other time. But the man has skill. I'm sure he's got injuries that he's dealing with too, but he's just a nice guy, and I like the nice guys. And so I will always cheer for the nice guys.
Yep.
Maegashira 12. On the east side, interestingly, Asanoyama. On the west side, Chura no Umi. Love and hate this rank equally. Asanoyama on the east side. Injury.
Yes. He was out the whole last tournament at Komusubi. He did not show up one day. So he got bumped from Komusubi down to Maegashira 12.
Have you heard? Is he going to show up this time?
He seems to be practicing. So
Did he? It's his knee, right?
I can't remember.
I think it's his knee. I think I remember it being low body. Did he get surgery?
I don't know. They all say they're moving well.
They all say it'll take 2 weeks to heal.
Right.
But if it's like ACL, MCL, and again, I don't have internet, so I can't look it up at this point.
Do you want me to look it up? You want me to find out?
No, it's okay. If it's his knee, if it's one of those, I don't think he'll be up to 100%.
I just feel for him because he's been so up and down. He was out November of this last year for the whole first week of the tournament. Then he was back for 2 tournaments, turned in winning records, and then got injured, or the injury came back. And so maybe all the extra time, because he didn't show up at all. He had an extra, couple of months there of regaining some strength. I'm just surprised, though, that they bumped him from Komusubi down to Maegashira 12. But hey.
They've been hard on that kid since he lost his Ozeki rank.
I know.
They're not being any easier on him. So there he is at Maegashira 12. We'll see if he shows. On the other side, Chura no Umi, who
we never really think about.
No, I always forget the guy. And he's sort of just been like he's been caught in an eddy.
Yeah,
he's
this
mid-rank. Position.
Completely 7'8", 7'8", 8'7". Like he's just turning in barely.
He's in a sumo eddy.
Barely winning.
But here he is at 12, a little bit like seeping higher and higher.
Well, this is only his 5th tournament in Makuuchi, so I think, unless he was bumped down to Juryo before, but this newest rise into Maegashira, he was in Juryo of September last year. Juryo.
Yeah, no, this is part, like, he established himself in Maegashira, but he hasn't been able to get higher than these, like, This is his 5th basho, and he's only made it up to 12. Has he been higher?
No, he's never had more than 8 wins, I think.
Okay. I think he had a slightly higher rank at some point. But I can't remember.
His rank? 13, 13, 15. 15, 15, 13, 13, 13, 12.
Yeah. Oh, so it is his highest rank.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is his highest rank. So let's see what he does. Let's see if he can, like, put a couple things together and then get up to 11.
Right.
That's kind of exciting. We have some old standards here at Maegashira 13. We have a Hokuto Fuji on the east side and Takara Fuji on the west side.
Hokuto Fuji doesn't have much hair left on top. And I think that's why I cheer for him. I'm like, you rock that top knot like anybody else does, but with pride. And I love the way this guy wrestles. I always will be a Hokuto Fuji fan. Mm-hmm. He has not had great records. And I think that's just time. And he's just been in this game for a really long time. But I do love me some Hokuto Fuji. He's a bull.
Takara Fuji?
Same sort of, everybody's dad. He shows up. He's usually pretty steady. 8'7", 6'9", 6'9", 7'8". Everyone kind of thinks he's more towards the end of his career with these kind of like mid-range numbers. But don't count him out. He's a total pro and has been out there with he has so much experience. So he can still own some of these young guys too.
He had dropped out of the top division, popped his way back up last basho. It was his first time back in the top division. We were all kind of wondering how that was going to go. And I was excited that he got his Kachikoshi last time. And so here he is a little bit higher. I feel like this is great. This is where he should be. Absolutely deserves to be here. Maegashira 14, we have 2 guys returning. I'm just happy for both of them. We have Wakataka Kage, his first return to the top division in a year, and Endo, who was gone 2 basho, 3 basho? I can't remember how long he was in Juryo.
I feel like these are all the ranks of all the guys that were in Juryo and just crushed Juryo and now got the bump back up. Yeah, because Endo got 12-3 in Juryo last time. Prior to that, he'd been all Maegashira for years.
But Wakataka Kage won the Juryo Basho last time.
He did.
With like 1 loss, 2 losses?
1 loss.
1 loss. So just creamed the competition down there. Here he is.
Juryo 6, and then they bumped him up to Maegashira 14. They could have put him higher, actually, but...
Which is fabulous.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the Juryo tournament last time, but word on the street was he looked great.
Do you know who he lost to? Kageyaki.
Who is also back up in the top
Yeah.
division at Maegashira 16, which is
we
great.
just skipped over Chiyoshima and Roga, but...
Okay, let's do that. Chiyoshima's back.
Endo, but we don't need,
Hey, Chiyoshima was down in Juryo for several basho, and here he is back.
Yeah,
I think it's
back.
great.
And he's been turning in the mostly winning records down in Juryo, so that's good.
I feel like it's an old standard.
We'll see if the Hanka's back. We'll see if the Hanka King reigns in Makuuchi again.
Kageyaki is back, and Bushozan are back at Maegashira 16.
And handsome Nishiki Fuji.
At 17.
Well, he was at Maegashira 12. He's been kind of on that cusp of, I'm in Juryo, no, I'm in Maegashira. I'm in Makuuchi. I'm in Juryo, I'm in Makuuchi. I'm in Juryo, I'm in Makuuchi. And he's just kind of inconsistent. We'll see. He was Maegashira 12 last time, and he was 5 wins, 10 losses. So I think that's pretty tough.
Honestly, there seems to be a huge difference between Juryo and the Maegashira ranks anyway. Yeah. It's tough to pop from one to the other.
Yeah.
A lot of guys struggle right there.
Well, especially if you're wrestling people like Wakataka Kage, who's there.
Yeah. Who was a Sekiwake.
Yeah, there's a lot of rank and filers that have recently fallen into Juryo who would be difficult to beat.
I'm just so excited to see both Waka brothers.
I am too. There was an interesting article, and it was just an interview with Waka Motoharu, and he talks a lot about his very serious brother, but he's the middle child, so it was really kind of fun.
Is that the one where he said, they asked him who he looked up to, and he said, my younger brother, Wakataka Kage?
Yeah, because he's always said he's done well, but that's always because he's felt this push from behind, like in the ranks, like coming back up. So he's had to become better because his little brother was up there. He takes it so seriously. But his point of view about sumo was like, we needed a place to be housed after that terrible earthquake. I was like indifferent, but Wakataka Kage was always like, yes, absolutely. This is 100%. He took it so seriously. So he just kind of went along with it. And now he feels that he's done better, but again, because his little brother has been crushing it and is so motivating, it kind of pushes him along up the ranks. So it was a sweet article, but nice to hear them talk about nice to hear Wakamoto Haru talk about his brother in that manner.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's it. Really looking forward to this next basho. I cannot wait. It starts next week.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for those bingo cards. We'll be posting those. And I guess that's it. We'll be back with you next week with days 1, 2, and 3 of the basho.
See ya.
Bye.